Welcome to another episode of Life and Whiskey. As always, I'm Jordan, and we are currently on video number 3 of our Budget Whiskey series. So far, we've looked at Scotch and Canadian whiskeys. We are going to move into the bourbons. So most of the bourbons that I have found, I did actually find them here in my bourbon book, the Bourbon Tasting Notebook. And so that was kind of nice to have that as a guide. And we're going to do 3 whiskeys in this video, 3 bourbons in this video, and then 3 bourbons in the next video. And yeah, these bourbons were pretty decent. As I said in the very first video, I was unable to get one of my favorite whiskeys that's under $10, which is the JTS Brown. But I did find a couple that were quite a surprise and quite delicious. So hopefully, you might take an interest in some of the ones that I'm going to talk about, and maybe they'll become one of your daily drinkers as well. So we're going to start with one that we have reviewed before back in the Elk series, and that is going to be the Evan Williams Green Label here. It's an 80 proof whiskey, and I was able to pick it up for $7.89 at our local liquor store, so give that a little go there. So, Evan Williams, it's a cheap whiskey, but it's a pretty good bourbon for what it is, and for $7.89, I can drink it all day long. So, here we go. On the nose. So to me, on the nose, just like every Evan Williams product, all of them seem to have the very same nose to me. They're very medicinal cherry on the nose. And a heavy corn dust. I get a very, very heavy corn dust in there. Bit of a dry fruit, maybe? Some honey. Gosh, if you try really hard, that honey and like apple smell, I can kind of pull those out together. Anyways, the nose is pretty pleasant. It smells pretty light. Again, it's only an 80 proof whiskey, but, not bad. Okay, so going in on the taste, it mirrors the nose fairly well. I would say it's corn dust heavy, corn dust forward, and then it's not a medicinal cherry flavor, but a cherry comes through. But it's not a sweet cherry either. It's not like a maraschino or something like that. It's just straight up cherry. A little bit of caramel in there, or maybe a brown sugar. There's a sweet in there. And then it moves into an oak. So you get a little bit of that oak tannin in there. Very nice and well balanced with the sweet flavors that are in there. And then it kind of moves into a black pepper kind of towards the tail end, towards the finish. A little bit of a spice. So let me go back in for another taste, and we're going to focus on the finish on this one. So it moves pretty quick. It's fairly thin. You hit all those notes that I've described so far, and then it kind of goes into this oak. So it's an oak tannin spice that's forward on the finish part, underlaying with just a light sweet note to it, and it kind of moves fast through the finish. The overall flavor profile is maybe 5 seconds, with a little bit of a lingering burn to it. Really nice. You know what? I'd drink Evan Williams pretty consistently. It's not very expensive. It's not very robust, but it's very easy drinking. So, yeah, if you guys are holding out in your bomb shelter here to make it through this COVID epidemic, you know what? You might want to consider picking up some Evan Williams. It's a pretty decent one. And for $7.89, I don't think you can go too wrong with it. Yeah, I'm kind of pouring and going here, so if you see me messing around, that's what's going on. So amongst all the things that are going on right now, went out the other day, took the dog with me, went out looking for some elk sheds out on the Forest Service lands, and man, we hiked something like 5 or 6 miles, I think, and we did close to 5,000 vertical feet. A lot of up and down. We were walking across the face of the mountains, and the mountains kind of have a lot of little creeks and intermittent streams and stuff that work through them. So like each fold you have to go up and over and down, and each one of those valleys, our mountains have pretty steep valleys. So even those itty bitty little creeks, you know, you're dropping 150, 200 feet down and then back up and then down and then back up. And we did a good number of those. So all that effort, busted our butt, 65 degrees, pushing 70 down below. I was at, I think, like 6,000 feet. Somewhere in there is where I was sitting. And we never found a single shed. No moose paddles, no elk sheds, no deer, nothing. I was a little disheartened by that. We did jump a moose, which was kind of nice. Had the dog with me, letting her run. So we saw a moose, so I had my hopes up for a moose paddle, but was not meant to be. And then the other nice thing, we saw a mule deer, which I'm going to presume was a buck because it was by itself pretty high on the mountain already. And then we also saw some dusky grouse, so that was kind of nice to see. So we were getting out and getting after it. I also hope everybody else was getting out and getting after it as well. Social distancing and all. It's kind of nice to be able to distance yourself in that manner. Number 2, we are looking at 10 high, okay? So, I was able to pick up the 10 high for $8.49. Okay, so this one, so again, most of these are going to be running in 80 proof territory. This is very, very sweet forward, very vanilla, like vanilla frosting sweet. Yeah, a little bit of caramel in there, like creamy caramel though. So if you took and put like a heavy cream homemade caramel, whatever you want to say, that's what I'm getting off of this with some vanilla in it. Pretty good. So if you're into sweeter whiskeys, now a lot of people, so budget and mainstream. So for people who are not necessarily whiskey enthusiasts, they tend to want the sweeter drinks. That's why whiskey and other liquor is often made into a mixed drink. Because that sweet palate is something that's easy to appease. This is definitely tending that direction. Very, very vanilla cream frosting forward. Once again, the flavor is following right straight through with the nose. Vanilla cream frosting, very sweet, very caramel. There's just the slightest watery oak that's in there, kind of pushing towards the end. But it's just very sweet, very smooth and rounded. It's not spiky at all. It almost has a very light, oily clinginess at the very end of the flavor profile that kind of lingers into a little bit of alcohol or pepper spice, I guess I would say. Yeah, it's a very short profile, maybe no more than 5 seconds. Again, kind of thin and watery. It goes sweet, very, very to start with, very sweet. And then it goes watery, thin, and then kind of goes into this light oak finish in there. Go back for the oak or for the finish one more time here. On the second taste, I get a little more of that oak and peppery spice. A little more forward in the flavor profile, but it is still sweet forward for the very first couple of sips. Definitely the vanilla sweet, and then kind of a light pepper with a sweet undertone to it. It still has a sweet finish all the way through. Again, nice, light, easy drinking. So far, either one of these I would drink as a daily drinker. There's no problems there at all. I mean, they're both they're simple in flavor profile, but there's nothing out of the realm of expected or ordinary or whatever you want to say. So 10 high, not a bad whiskey by any stretch. Feel free, go out, pick it up, and if you don't like it, sorry, but for $8.49, you're not really out anything. So, I should be washing this glass, but unfortunately I'm not. Oh, the other thing I did while I was out, the other day, I went over to the Bighorn River here in Wyoming and did some fishing. I'm looking at my phone right now. I'm going to bring up a picture. Caught a pretty nice brown trout on some of the flies, on one of the flies that I had tied in one of the streamers I tied in one of my other videos. I tied that, but see if I can show it on the video here. Right there, getting a lot of reflection from the mirror, or from the window here, but you can kind of see it is a 24-inch, probably somewhere around 4 or 5 pound brown. It was a pretty good day. I was over there for about maybe 6 hours fishing, and I missed several fish that are hitting pretty short, and I got some takes, but they weren't taking it fully. They were kind of nipping the tail and stuff. I tried switching up, didn't really work, but I had 4 other fish that were definitely well over 20 inches. I had a rainbow, a really nice hook jaw male that was like this deep dark purple with a bright pink red stripe down, just that dark color. He was easily 6 inches from belly to top, and I mean, I know fish stories and all, he was this big, you can't even see it. He was this big. No, he was easily in the same category as this one. And I had him for just a second, and I don't even think I had the hook. I think he literally had just a hold of the tail and wasn't letting go for it, because he was on for like half a second. I had another brown that was probably as close in size to the one I just showed you a picture of come up and hit it, and as soon as I set that hook and I was kind of stripping the line in to set the hook, and as soon as I did that, he cut the line, cut it clean as day right through. So that was a little disappointing. Had a couple other misses and stuff going on, but it was a great day. So if you get a chance, check out that COVID fly tying video that I did earlier. I think you'd definitely enjoy it. And if you can tie up one of those flies and get out there and check out your local fly stream, you'll probably end up doing pretty good with it. That white pattern seems to really, really be the ticket for me. And yeah, well, you just saw the result. So it was a great day. Loved it. All right, so third and final whiskey for today. Try and get the sun off of that. We got Old Crow. I went with the Glass 750 here. Now, Old Crow is a Beam Suntory product, which when I get into this, you'll find out why that's a little bit surprising to me. But it's a good product, and I got it for $8.59. So, on that note, as far as expense, on these first 3, they were in order for expense. So, Evan Williams, $7.89. 10 High for $8.49, and Old Crow, $8.59. So hopefully, as always, go ahead, put in the comments below what you're able to find those liquors for in your area, and let's get a little library going so that everybody can kind of get a good idea of what to expect on prices. But again, the goal of this budget whiskey series is under $10. Okay, so now this one's actually probably the most complex out of all these so far, which is funny because it's the plastic bottle and they all got screw caps on them. So, but I'm getting more oak out of this, more or brown sugar smell, sweet. A very, very light cherry in there, and almost a honey apple floral thing. Like to me, like apple and floral and honey kind of. If I find one, I typically find all three or pretty close to it. It's kind of hard to distinguish. But it's kind of light and sweet. If you get way in there, you can get a really good apple out of it. I really like that one. So yeah, so far on the nose, Old Crow's winning. So that's a very interesting flavor profile. Awful lot going in there. So I'm going to throw out a lot of notes here. Kind of starts with a cherry. So it starts with the fruits up front. So it's like cherry, and then moves into an apple, and after that apple, it hits a sweet note that kind of goes floral on it. So when I say sweet or floral, it has like that buffalo trace. So if you've ever had buffalo trace, it has that floral flavor characteristic to it. It's very light and refreshing. And then it moves quickly into oak. And that oak comes through more prominently along with some corn dust. And yeah, I mean, this, as far as bourbon goes, this Old Crow is hitting pretty much every note that you'll find in just a regular straight Kentucky bourbon, which is what all these are. And it's pretty darn likable. All the flavors are very smooth and rounded. There's no shininess to it. There's no spiky notes in there. It's just very fruity, sweet, caramelly, brown sugar into oak. And there's that floral note that's in there. Yeah, very, very similar to Four Roses or Buffalo Trace. I would say that would be a good substitute. So if you're a fan of either of those products, be a very good half-price substitute for that. And then on the finish, you're coming off that middle oak note, goes into a sweet, smooth, very slight black pepper that's in there, nothing major. With just a very quick spice at the very end. Black pepper or alcohol burn in there. Or maybe it's even a wood tannin. Yeah. I don't know. So out of the three, I'm going with the Old Crow. If I'm going to sit there and drink, it's the most expensive of the three, but at $8.59, you can afford to drink a lot of it. So hopefully you and your own, you're staying healthy and safe. Your family's doing good, and hopefully you guys all still are able to stay employed. And if not, at least got a fallback plan. If you're looking for a way to restock up on your whiskeys to make it through your at-home lockdown while you're out and about, feel free. Check out some of these budget whiskeys. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Please click all notifications. As always, I'm trying to grow this channel and I need your guys' help and support. Also, if you've watched this video, please start commenting as much as possible on there about things you like, didn't like, want to see, anything at all, so that I can keep the ideas going and keep the conversation going. And I'll make sure to try and read through all those comments and hit back at everybody who's taken the effort to make the comment. And yeah, so there's my YouTube plea for all of you. And once again, thank you so much for watching these videos, and I hope you guys stay safe, and make sure to check out some of the other whiskey videos as well. Have yourselves a great day, and we'll catch you all a bit later.